almost 180 degrees auditorium is getting very crowded.
Okay.
Well, hi, everybody.
Just
And actually, this is a keynote, and there are more or less 10 parallel sessions. All of them are finishing now, and so everybody's coming from the sessions to the keynote. Okay. It's still people arriving from all the sessions.
Okay.
should I start?
Just a couple of seconds. Okay. Yeah, okay, let's start. All right. Thank you very much, everybody, to come to this keynote. I would like to thank very much Pedro Mario and for being a host for this talk. And of course, super thanks to Richard Kerris from NVIDIA to accept this to be the keynote speaker today. And also we would like to thank NVIDIA for accepting this this possibility. So thank you very much, Richard. We can start your talk. You have around 45 minutes, and following the keynote, we will have a short session of questions. Okay. Oh,
So,
and this is also being streamed by YouTube. Okay. So
okay. Do you want me to introduce
Richard? YouTube, Natalnet. Okay. Thank you very much, Richard. Pedro, can you make the introduction, please?
So, yeah, thank you. So it's a proud to be a virtual co-chair of this keynote speaker. I'm very happy to introduce our next speaker, Richard Kerris, is Vice President of the Omniverse Develop Platform and is the Industry General Manager for Media Entertainment at NVIDIA, with a career spanning from Apple, Lucasfilm, Amazon, AWS. Richard's experience combines driving, marketing, and product development with a focus on bringing new ideas to life. At Apple, he directed developer relations and managed Final Cut Pro, Logic, and Aperture. At Lucasfilm, he served as CTO, managing research and development, IT, and information services. He currently serves on the Bay Area board of the Visual Effects Society and as an active member of the Society of Motion Picture and Television Engineers. Richard, finally, the floor is yours.
Okay. Thank you very much. And hi, everybody. I wish I was there in person. Hopefully, these virtual presentations are going to soon be a thing of the past and we'll be able to meet in person. I'm going to today take you through what is the metaverse and what is virtual worlds and how it's going to be affecting all different types of industries that we work in. Some that you'll be familiar with, some that'll be new, and different technologies and how they will affect different workflows. So, and I will pause just every once in a while to make sure that the transmission is working well and that the videos play correctly and things, because I know how these technical challenges can be from time to time. So I'll keep my eye up on the little window to see the audience there. If there's any hiccups or anything, somebody just let me know. So let's start off with the metaverse, okay? This is a topic that we hear all the time, especially of late. What is the metaverse and what is it not? So the metaverse is simply the next generation of the internet. It's the network. Now, a lot of people think the metaverse means that we're all going to be avatars and we'll all be in Ready Player One headsets and doing virtual reality and all of those things. That's simply a display or an experience mechanism from the network. The network is what we're talking about as the metaverse, and a 3D centric network at that. And why that's so exciting is because today we experience the internet in primarily a 2D experience, meaning that we go from website to website seamlessly, videos play, images look correctly, text looks correct as well. But to do 3D from website to website isn't currently something that is seamless. You usually go to a website that does 3D and you have to load special extensions and things in order for it to work correctly. That's kind of like it was in the early days of the internet, All of that got ratified with HTML. So have a common plumbing that allows us to go from website to website on any device, any location, and it's always seamless. When we can do that with 3D, that's going to change everything, and it's going to change it across a number of industries. We're already today seeing how 3D is affecting how people buy goods and services, how they can use a tablet to view the interior of a room and put virtual furniture in it to see. We're also seeing industries now starting to use 3D across their workflows, whether it's doing digital twins of understanding how a factory might perform, et cetera, as well as using AI technologies to do weather analysis on buildings, et cetera. All of these things will soon be seamlessly connected on the next generation of the network, and that's what the metaverse is. Now, in order for the metaverse to be successful, like the internet was, it has to have a technology foundation that is based on a few core principles. These principles will allow it to have that seamless transition from website to website, much like we experience the internet today. First and foremost is open standards. You can't develop an internet in a walled garden. You can't develop the metaverse in a walled garden. It has to be open. Next, it has to be scalable. And what we mean by that is some experiences are fine to see operating off of a laptop and letting the laptop performance dictate what you see and how you experience it. However, there's going to be many different types of 3D environments that people will experience. Some will be very large, some will be the size of a factory or a city block, or eventually even the globe. And so you must have a scalable system that can scale to those things. And another key aspect is physically accurate simulation, or true to reality simulation, meaning that you can't do approximations if you're going to do something to this nature and use it in business and making critical decisions. It has to be true to reality. So if you're studying weather patterns, or if you're studying how something might behave in an earthquake, or et cetera, you don't want to make an approximation. You want to do it accurately. And also, one of the key aspects that's evolved across all of these industries is the use of AI, or artificial intelligence, that enables us to do things and have superpowers as we operate and experience these virtual worlds. We've built Omniverse, our platform at NVIDIA, to be a platform that enables the creating and operating of metaverse applications, of 3D applications and experiences. And this platform, you can think of it like an operating system in the context that we set out to bring new capabilities and technologies to existing workflows without replacing the tools that they already use. So tools that can be used in architecture and design and media can connect to our platform, and then have the availability of our technologies at the platform, like real-time ray tracing, AI, material libraries, and physics, and be able to use those in the work that they're doing. And I'll have a few examples of that as we get further along here. Omniverse can be thought of as two parts of that platform, the journey of the platform. There's the first part of creating content or creating worlds. And then there's the second part about operating those worlds. So for example, I may create a factory with cars and machinery, et cetera. But then I want to take that factory and I want to operate it as a digital twin, meaning I want to have a synchronous connective ability to have the virtual environment connected to the real environment, because there's a lot of things that I can do when I have that capability. And I'll talk about those as we get to digital twins a little bit later. But it truly brings superpowers to the work that you're doing, because you can make decisions in the virtual world before you commit to them in the costly physical world. Let me show you an example of some of the technologies that Omniverse has helped present or bring to life using existing tools and technologies put to the platform. So this is a little reel. Hopefully it will play correctly. Let's give it a try. Okay, I take it that played well, since I didn't see any hands up or saying that you couldn't hear it or anything. So that's great. You saw in that clip a lot of different technologies brought to life using Omniverse. Technologies used in design and manufacturing, technologies used in game development and media and entertainment applications. All of these are different things that the platform can bring to life with these technologies that I've been talking about. Now, as I said earlier, open standards is one of the key aspects for seeing the metaverse become a reality. And at the very base of that is universal scene description. We believe this to be the best candidate for the core underlying HTML of 3D. And the reason is because it enables people to bring their existing 3D technologies to it and build on top of it and keep it open and extensible throughout different use cases. Universal Scene Description, or USD, was originally developed at Pixar, who had a lot of the same challenges that many other industries have. They had teams in different locations working on a common project using different software products, some that were third-party, some that were built on the premises, and they needed to bring all of these things together consistently. So they started and developed Universal Scene Description and then opened it up to the rest of the world. And now many, many companies are supporting and advancing this important format. Universal Scene Description has been adopted by us as our core platform for Omniverse, but it's also being used by other companies like Apple, who has Universal Scene Description, USD, on all of their devices. So billions of devices around the world can capture 3D content in a USD format, and you can bring that content into Omniverse or use it with many other applications out there. Because of USD, we're able to connect all of these different types of aspects together. So whether it's tools being used for robotics or rendering and design creation or sensors, et cetera, you can bring all of these things in and you can use them together on our platform. There's also companies out there creating assets and material libraries specifically in USD for the other companies to use. And we are even seeing now the growth of system integrators and system providers who are building their businesses around helping companies to customize their use case for USD and other aspects for metaverse applications in their particular industry. So you know that this is something that's really getting the momentum of all these industries together. And like I say, if any company that's in 3D today is either supporting USD or has a path to supporting it very soon. That's showing how important that core HTML of 3D is for these virtual worlds. Here's an example of what USD can bring to a workflow. Here I've got a couple different applications. Let me have this play. And what you'll see here is there's Unreal Engine, there's Max, 3ds Max, and there's Maya. And then on the right, on the big screen, you see the Omniverse Create screen. And what's taking place right now is you have multiple artists using their applications as they would, as if they were in a singular environment working, but now they're connected. And by using Omniverse, they're all working in that same virtual environment at the same time. This is something that was unheard of just a few short years ago. And why it's so important is it allows for artists and designers to work collaboratively, even if they're not in the same location and even if they're not using the same software. So this is one of the first big revelations that Omniverse is bringing to the workflows out there. And again, this works across multiple workflows. This is just one example. So what Omniverse helps do for these products is bring together the different elements and the different people in that process for creation. So in this example, this image that you see here, you see Omniverse in the center as that virtual world, but you see then you have architects using Revit or Rhino, you have designers using 3ds Max or Substance, and they can be connected and working together in real time. Plus, in the lower right, you can have somebody viewing that environment and annotating it and offering input. Perhaps it's the supervisor or it's the customer. They can connect to that platform and be in that same shared virtual experience. But there's even more that happens once you're connected. At the bottom there, you see some of the different technologies that I've talked about. You have real-time ray traced rendering, you have AI, materials, and physics. But over on the left, you see what is termed as Toy Jensen. That's actually an avatar. You can bring avatars that are trained specifically for a project into the workflow so that you can use them for information and guidance and things like that. So you have all these things that can come together in the same virtual world. This unlocks such amazing collaborative workflows for creators. And again, across multiple different types of industries. And I'll talk about some of these examples. Now, here's an example of a collaborative workflow using some technologies of Omniverse in our third-party products. And let me play that for you now.
NVIDIA Omniverse Cloud is a suite of software and infrastructure as a service for designing, publishing, NVIDIA Omniverse Cloud Metaverse is a suite of software from anywhere, on any device. Let's see how Remac, structure as technology pioneer of AI-enabled hypercars and advanced electric solutions, can enable collaborative workflows for their 3D team.
I'm seeing the error. I'm taking it you're seeing the error as well. So I'm going to just
teams and deliver advanced 3D experiences to their audiences.
And let me do this again. I think I had two instances playing there. Give me 1 second to just fire that back up. Okay, here it comes. I will do that again. So sorry for that little interruption. Sharing sound, sharing video, PowerPoint, and here we go again. Let me get down to that. So this is where I was starting from, and
NVIDIA Omniverse Cloud is a suite of software and infrastructure as a service for designing, publishing, and experiencing metaverse applications from anywhere on any device. Let's see how Remac, technology pioneer of AI-enabled hypercars and advanced electric solutions, can enable collaborative workflows for their 3D teams and deliver advanced 3D experiences to their audiences with Omniverse Cloud. The 3D models of cars such as Remacs are designed by large teams of uniquely skilled individuals, each using their own specialized tools. Here, designers connect to Omniverse Nucleus Cloud, their shared database engine. With USD workflows, they can aggregate full CAD fidelity datasets from their favorite tools, including Autodesk Alias, Houdini, Adobe Substance 3D Painter, and Omniverse Create. Each designer either works on their individual RTX computers or streams Omniverse apps from OVX servers in the cloud. Once complete, Remac integrates the ground truth USD model into an advanced real-time 3D configurator and publishes it to the NVIDIA Graphics Delivery Network a planetary scale network of distributed data centers that stream high-performance, low-latency 3D experiences to edge devices. Today's configurators are limited by pre-rendered options that can only be shown in a single scene. With the end-to-end USD pipeline, Rimac fans and consumers are configuring the actual engineering dataset, not a simplified model, in full fidelity with physically accurate materials and real-time RTX ray tracing. This unlocks all possible design permutations without Rimac having to manually render every option as a layer. Omniverse Cloud connects 3D artists, designers, and Metaverse viewers at every edge of the planet and delivers the possibility to build and operate advanced 3D internet applications on any device.
So what you saw there is a number of products being used together from different geographical locations, all being connected with Omniverse and all being connected via the cloud. And I'll talk a bit about our Omniverse Cloud product line shortly.
NVIDIA Omniverse.
Okay. One of the other key things that Omniverse brings for all different types of workflows is the ability to customize your pipeline. Now, in any type of workflow, a pipeline is essential to get work from the starting point all the way to the finished product. Here is an example of a pretty standard architectural concept design pipeline. Now, what you see here is it's more of a linear fashion. It's starting over with the project and the product scope and what they're building and the visualization of it, et cetera, and it gets to the other side. But frequently, there's a lot of changes that take place through pipelines. And in this traditional pipeline, you have to then undo your steps or backpedal all the way back to make changes and such. Omniverse allows for everything to be connected to a central aspect of the pipeline called Nucleus. Nucleuses are, you can think of it as the traffic cop for data. It can manage the data from different products, and it can manage the data from different geographical locations, and it can be your single source of truth. So by using that, you can actually take a pipeline away from being a linear thing and have it be more object-based so that you can make decisions anywhere in the process and go back and make those adjustments, and the entire project will be updated instantaneously rather than having to backpedal. And this works even in more complex pipelines like a visual effects pipeline. Visual effects pipelines typically have 5 to 7 or even more different types of software products being used. And some of those are custom-made content or custom-made tools, third-party tools, all sorts of things that take place in that. And it becomes a very complex thing to manage because typically these teams can be in different locations in the world. Now, taking that same aspect to it and using a creative pipeline like we can provide with Omniverse, it can help simplify that not only on location, but across the different geographical locations and across different software products. This one aspect of Omniverse, this custom pipeline creation, is one of the things that our customers are raving about the most because it really helps solve problems that they face on a day-to-day basis and have faced for many, many years. There's other aspects to the platform that come into play as well. Not only can you customize your pipeline, but you start using the tools in the platform to help you do your work better. And one of those tools is AI. And by using AI, there's a whole suite of capabilities that you have. One in particular is called deep search. So what is AI deep search? It is the ability to use artificial intelligence to locate imagery based on the content of that imagery or those clips. And one example of that is our customer, Industrial Light and Magic, or ILM, who has over 10 years of content that they have that they use for feature films or their television work. So what that means is when they're designing something on their virtual production stage, the director may say, I want a gloomy sky that's got a couple different moons, and I want this, it's that, et cetera. And he kind of describes that. Traditionally, what would happen after that then is that they would go into their archives and search via metadata and bring up whatever they thought would fit that description. That all goes away using deep search. In deep search, you can use simple language like that, or even the director speak, as I was saying, type that in, and the computer will then instantaneously bring up those examples. I have a clip to show you here that's I just think is super fascinating.
At ILM, we've been doing visual effects for a very long time. We have decades of reference material, such as effects elements, dust, fire, water, explosions. We send teams of photographers to shoot various types of skies and terrain all over the world.
It's a huge library, and there's a lot of information, a lot of data, a lot of imagery to go through. Sometimes it can be quite daunting. And so when I start thinking about how to design the landscape, I always think about the emotional tone. And then I try to find a suitable background to help support that.
The real power of NVIDIA Deep Search is that it allows us to use natural language to search through all of this massive amount of data. For years, we've actually used artificial intelligence for a lot of the more technical needs on our shots. Now we're at a place where we're using artificial intelligence to communicate creatively with one another.
We want to make this feel as real as possible. So the brief would be, let's find something that's very dark and brooding. You know, Landis will then go and find all these different backgrounds and skies that can fit that mood. And it's really important because then it gives me, as a production designer, sort of the flexibility to pick and choose, as if I was actually on location, looking at different sky conditions, and then finding the one that's the perfect note.
Just using NVIDIA Search alone to not have to tag all of our material is a huge benefit. But one of the things that it also has allowed us to do is lean on artificial intelligence to not only give us a curated list of thumbnails for things that you'd never were present for, but also to mix and match those results to create something that never existed.
One of the wonderful things now with VR tools is that we can actually virtually scout an environment, a virtual environment, together with the artist as if we were on location.
Not only does NVIDIA Deep Search tie in seamlessly with Omniverse, but it also allows us to do that on set live with the brain bar or right there in the middle of the LED volume.
So hopefully that gave you a good understanding of how bringing existing workflows to the platform, you get more superpowers using the platform's capabilities. Now, a couple things about the platform I'd like to talk about is first of all, our purpose-built machine for Omniverse called OVX. This is our second generation platform for Omniverse, and it is a dedicated 8th-gen GPU system specifically designed for the ground up for using Omniverse applications at data center scale. That means you have dedicated hardware focused on the type of workflows that you're doing. You know, we talk about how Omniverse can work on any RTX machine, so it can be a laptop and can be a workstation. But now we have dedicated hardware built specifically for Omniverse applications to run at this larger scale. And we're taking all of that to the cloud. So today we have cloud containers and managed services for designing and publishing these different experiences. We have Omniverse Farm, it's a scaling engine for 3D workflows, Replicator, Isaac Sim, Drive Sim. These are just some of the aspects along with Nucleus as a collaboration that allows for customers using Omniverse in different locations to work together via the cloud. But the big news that we announced just recently at GTC was bringing all of Omniverse to the cloud. Omniverse is a new computing platform. We have the RTX PCs, we have the dedicated hardware of OVX, and now using our graphics delivery network, we're going to be able to scale and drive Omniverse anywhere on any device. This is going to cover the entire globe, delivering the ability to design, build, publish 3D workflows and applications like never before. So this means you could even be on a machine that doesn't support an RTX. You could be on a tablet. You could be on any types of things that are out there. As long as they have a connection and a suitable connection, you can stream Omniverse to that. This is what we're focused on right now because this brings Omniverse to the largest group of designers and creators out there. And as you've seen, once you have these things connected, you have the ability to work together via different devices, different locations. So here's another example of different workflows being used in this configuration.
3D design is a complex team sport with different artists, apps, and hardware, often working in different locations. With Omniverse Cloud, it's much easier. Using NVIDIA RTX PCs, laptops, and workstations, designers can work together in real time. And if you don't have an RTX computer, you can stream Omniverse from GeForce Now with just a single click. Let's watch as an architectural design team reviews a project using Omniverse View in a web conference.
All right here is the 5th floor patio.
To get a better feel for the lighting, let's see what the space looks like at noon.
Sure.
It's a little sunny. Let's make some adjustments to the trellis.
One sec. How's that?
Much better. Let's see if we can get Teresa on.
Yep, sending that link now.
Hey, you two.
Hi. So we did a sun study at midday and decided it needed more shade. What do you think?
Yeah, that looks great. But I still feel like it needs a little more. What if we add some trees?
Yeah, let's get TJ to help with that.
Hi, how can I help?
Hey, TJ, can you add some medium-sized trees in planters near the tables?
Sure, let me add that for you. How does this look?
Nice. But TJ, can we vary the trees, say size and type?
Okay, here you go.
Hey, TJ, let's go to the bar and see what it looks like at night.
You got it.
Yeah, that looks great. I'll send the link out for approval.
See you in Omniverse.
So the key things there in that clip, as you saw, was people having different disciplines of what they're working on. One is a supervisor, one's a customer, one's a designer, the architect, and even AI, an avatar to help in that process as well, all from different devices and different locations, and all using true to reality simulation, meaning that when they looked at the shadows and lights, that was an accurate representation of what would take place in the physical world. It wasn't just a representation that was something that would be a guess. It actually is based on the real physical properties of the lights and shadows and the placement of the sun, etc. And the same thing when they were over at the bar in that scene, looking at it at night. True to reality simulation is what brings these kind of capabilities to life in these different workflows. Now, one of the other things that we talked about early on is the two parts to Omniverse. There's the creating the virtual world, and then there's the operation of that virtual world. Omniverse is really focused on the digital twin scenario because it's something that is going to affect all the different industries, and we're already seeing it today. A digital twin connects a virtual world in real time to the physical world. Now, why that's important is because there's many different types of things that you can do when you've done that. In this example that you see on the screen here right now, on the left, you see an image of the virtual factory, a car factory. It's actually a BMW factory in Germany. And it's CAD accurate, meaning that every nuts and bolts and everything that's in that factory, in that virtual world, is directly corresponding to the physical world of the same. Now, when they are going to make changes to their line of cars in that factory, it can be very costly. And for a company that's manufacturing over 2.5 million cars a year, when they make a change to that line, it can cause them time delays. It can cause other things as they get it configured to run properly. That's traditionally how they would have to deal with it. Now, with the digital twin, they can make all those decisions in the virtual world before they commit to it in the physical world. This means how the machines are laid out, how the robots are trained, even using digital humans to understand how the employees will deal with the incoming parts and services and how to apply them in the factory scenario. They can make all those decisions in a virtual environment before committing to it in the physical world. That saves them up to 30% in their production costs. And that's just one example of a digital twin. Like I said, using digital twins gives these different enterprises what we call superpowers. And what we mean by that is First and foremost, you can teleport in and out of these virtual worlds. So I can be in the physical world and I might be trying to figure out how I'm going to lay something out. Maybe it's I'm training robots, etc. I can go into the virtual world and experience it at any place, any location, and I can use the different attributes in the virtual world to then train in the physical world. In the robot example, for example, you used to train a robot by plugging it into the computer and programming it to what to do, and off it would go. I can have a digital twin of the robot in the digital twin of the virtual world, and now I can train hundreds of robots using AI technology and then download that information to the physical robot, and it's ready to go right away. There's other things that I can do in these virtual worlds. I can learn from the past, historical information. So companies like Lockheed Martin, who are doing digital twins of mountainsides to understand how wildfires are affecting them when they happen, they can use historical data to study that. Then they can use AI technology to make predictions as they travel to the future of what will take place. Once they do that, they can also look at different alternative futures on that, so that if they make these adjustments and changes here, how will that affect other parts and things that they're doing in the future? So you get these different types of superpowers that really enable you to learn and do much more in the virtual sense before you commit to things in the physical world. A number of companies, as I said, are already doing this. I talked a bit about BMW. Here's a company called Heavy AI that's doing telco digital twins, building a framework in Omniverse. Telcos is a $2 trillion industry, and Heavy AI has been working with Charter Communications, a multi-billion-dollar company, to build digital twins of cities to understand how to lay out antennas for 5G and what's the best and most economical way to do that. So they've built a digital twin with them doing that. And this is just starting in that super huge industry. Another company, Lowe's, I'm not sure if you have Lowe's in Brazil, but they have over 3,000 stores. And what they are is a home store that's got furniture to equipment and goods and services, etc. They've been working with their over 300,000 retail employees to give them superpowers with using digital twins. So they do a complete layout of their store. They have that layout of the store in the virtual environment is then connected to their entire infrastructure of their inventory. Then they can connect it to Omniverse. Their employees, whereas you see the woman in the middle there has a headset on. That's a Magic Leap 2 headset that gives them the ability to use augmented reality to see what the digital twin is and what the physical store is. And by doing so, they can have this amazing capabilities to understand what's in inventory, features and functionality, etc. And by combining these two now, they're giving their retail associates the same kind of superpower. So if somebody asks them a question, it's no longer, let me go wait and let me go find out for you. Now they're actually able to interact with the environment right then and there to give them the best customer experience possible. One other one, and then I'll show you some of these in play, is Deutsche Bahn. Deutsche Bahn is a transportation company, the second largest one in the world. They are the national railway of Germany, and they have built a digital twin of their entire rail system. That's over 37,000 kilometers of rail and over 5,000 stations. And by having a digital twin of this with sensors feeding the information into Omniverse in real time, they're enabled to understand any potential hazards that may take place, traffic locations, etc., and they are able to make the decisions in real time to prevent any of those types of hazards, as well as to help make their operations much more efficient and much more safe. So that's a few different examples that you see of how digital twins are affecting multiple industries. As I said, we believe that digital twins are going to exist at every scale. Anybody that's bought a car recently probably seen that you can go in and you can customize your car and things like that using a website. That's one example on a small scale. I've talked about the factory, talked about cityscapes, and there's also a project called Earth 2, which is an NVIDIA-led project to build a digital twin of the Earth. Why would we want to do something like that? Because it will help us understand climate change. It will help us learn from the past, make predictions on the future, and look at different alternatives based on the things that we might be doing on the planet today that could affect others in the future. So huge scale here, from a product all the way to planetary. This is what we mean by digital twins will one day exist at every scale. Let me show you an example of digital twins in action. So quite a wide variety of different use cases there. And lastly, before I'll open it up to get some questions, is what makes this all happen is the partner ecosystem. Omniverse is a platform that extends and enhances existing workflows. We don't go set out to replace what people do today. So whether you're in retail or if you're in telecommunications, transportation, media and entertainment, et cetera, all the tools you're familiar with working on, you get to still bring to the platform, but you now get these superpowers that I've been talking about, whether it's superpowers of real-time ray traced true to reality simulation, or using AI to make decisions and have accompaniment to your workflow, or using the operational aspects to have a digital twin of the work that you're doing. All of these capabilities are brought to you by the platform. So when we say that virtual worlds are really going to change the way everything is being done, that's what we mean, from the small projects to the large planetary projects. And all of this is made possible through the partners and adopters of these technologies. So whether it's software partners, hardware partners, or the early customers that we've had across the board who have been influencing the development of this platform, this is what we mean by we're connecting the world industries by building the metaverse together. So with that, I'd like to open it up for any questions I might be able to answer. I will stop sharing here and we'll go back to live video. So hello again.
Okay. Thank you very much, Richard. Let's we will turn on the lights so we can see better everybody. Okay, very nice talk, very exciting. We have now time for some questions. People, those that want to make questions. We have a two auditorium. This is full, so there is another one, and perhaps there are questions coming from the other auditorium.
Sure thing. I'll look in chat as well if there's any.
Are you listening?
Yes, I can hear you. Hi. Oh, now I can't hear you. So the volume just shut off.
Hello.
Okay.
You said that in the beginning, of the presentation that designers a lot of designers around the world will have the opportunity to work together in projects. How are you sure that every designer in a single project will have low latency while they are designing products, for example?
Okay.
How you ensure that it won't be connection problems in the Omniverse program?
Yeah, great question. And just to repeat it so others that aren't in the same room, the question is, how do we ensure that the experience between these designers and creators is going to be one that's in real time and usable, even if they don't have a great connection? And in that scenario, provided the different locations have Omniverse on their platform, so they're not relying completely in the cloud, but it's on platform, then the only thing that you're connected with in the cloud is the nucleus connector. And the nucleus is only going to transfer the information on the deltas of change. So for example, if you and I were working together in Omniverse and we were building the room that you're in right there, and you were making changes to the type of fabric on the floor, and I was making changes to the number of seats, the only thing that's trading back and forth are those things that we're working on. So I don't have to ship you the entire scene as I would have traditionally had to do. So that's one of the ways that we can enable a very good workflow, even in challenging experiences. The other part to the question is, how do we enable it for everyone? Omniverse for individuals is free, so anybody can download it at nvidia.com/omniverse, and you can start using it today. So that's how we're making it as widely available as possible, and that's how we're trying to deal with the issues that people might encounter with different connection challenges that they might have, is by using Nucleus with location-based systems on their platform. They only have to trade back and forth those deltas of change, which makes it very, very efficient and much more likely to be in real time.
Thank you.
Sure thing.
You're listening? You're listening?
Yes. Yes.
Hi, I'm Patrick. My question is kind of similar to my colleague here. I was about to ask about how can we get access to this technology if it is cheap or too expensive. But since you said Omniverse is free, and my question is now it is ready to all of us, or is in process? Because what we see now, what we present to us is that it's almost done. It's in the edge of the limit, almost right now. And what I see from my perspective, this reality is that the technology is not reach us yet. And how can we get there? And how will be possible for us to enter the metaverse? And how can we do this without being rich? Because
Yeah, I hear what
question.
you're saying. Yeah, so the question's like, how do we get this available to everyone, and how soon, and et cetera, on that same idea. And as I said, Omniverse runs on any RTX based machine today. So from our laptops to all the way up to the data centers that I talked about. The platform itself is free, but you still need the RTX hardware. And to your point, well, what if I don't have the RTX hardware, or it's too expensive where I live? That's one of the reasons why we're working so hard to bring Omniverse to the cloud. So in much the same way today, you may not have all the leading games, but you want to play the games with the latest technology. We have the GeForce Now or GeForce Network that allows you to stream those games directly to your screen, no matter what device you're on. We're using that same graphics distribution network concept to be able to stream Omniverse in much the same way. So our goal is, in as much it's the same easy way to download and watch a movie that you do online, whether it's Netflix or something like that, so should you be able to download and use Omniverse in much the same way. And that is our goal. So hopefully we'll be there as soon as possible, but I totally understand your position and we can't get there fast enough.
Can I make a quick comment on that?
Sure thing.
Yeah, I'd like to say that we are already working in a collaboration with Senai Cimatec. In fact, we started this collaboration with Senai Cimatec in the context of NVIDIA AI Technology Center Brazil. It started with AI and HPC project collaboration, but right now we have also them with a big car manufacturing company doing some design review experience on top of Omniverse. And yeah, we are open to discuss with the academic computer graphics virtual reality community in Brazil to help to support their projects.
Great. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
So it is pretty well known that the Omniverse will bring a lot of time improvements and linking and etc. Basically, it will make the connection between everyone make things happen faster, work faster. But do you believe that it can bring innovation to like the Omniverse will provide new ideas to the work?
Yes. So will Omniverse bring innovation to these different workflows? By all means, yes. We have thousands of startup companies, over 13,000 in our inception program, and many of those companies, thousands of them, are looking at building on Omniverse or connecting to it because it enables them to innovate faster. It enables them to take advantage of the core technologies at the platform and build on top of those. So developers today can build applications on Omniverse. They can connect applications to Omniverse. They can do custom extensions with Omniverse and sell into the existing market and be introduced to larger enterprise customers. So those are all ingredients for increased innovation. So yes, we believe that by providing the platform out there with these capabilities, customers will be able to, and developers will be able to take it much further. And we're seeing that happen all the time. A lot of the things that I showed you today were customers bringing their use case to us. And we were as pleasantly surprised as hopefully you were when you saw it, like to see a digital twin of a 5G antenna propagation done in a citywide block. That's incredible. Other ones are using it to do digital twins of factories and how they're training their robots and stuff. These are all things that they're bringing to us because the platform enables it to happen. They're the ones that are innovating using these tools. We at NVIDIA always say we are the makers of tools for the Da Vinci's of our time, meaning that we make the toolkit, but what you do with that toolkit is the magic that we love to see happen.
So we can say that it is the next big market to be explored.
Oh, yes. That's why we are so heavily invested into it, because as you saw across all these different types of markets, the platform allows for enhancement and extensions to what's currently being done. It's not like we're changing what people do. We're giving them superpowers. We're enabling them to do even more and have better ideas and be able to innovate in that way. So it's our biggest investment.
Hi. I'm Rosa, and I want to know about the physics in the Metaverse. Is there any studies about how accurate it is in like because the behavior of materials and structures and behave differently in every part of the world. Like,
that's right.
Build something here, the light will not work in the same way as it works in New York. And
yeah.
Like is there any recent studies about how accurate it is in reality? It's different yet for it to be reliable.
Yes, so I think I understand that the connection was a little rough, but the physics and how the physics behaviors will change depending on the location or different environmental aspects. And that's part of the true to reality simulation that we have. We actually have fashion designers now designing clothing and stuff using Omniverse as their platform because they can study the types of materials and the different types of use cases outside in the wind and the rain, et cetera. But the beauty about the platform is we have a set of physical attributes and tools that you can use, but we also have the framework so that you can customize them yourself. Or you can even bring in physical libraries from other scenarios. So we have companies in manufacturing that have existing libraries on how heat and airflow happens over the machinery that they build. They can bring that in. So there's nothing that prevents you to add on, build on, customize that's out there. And like I said, then you have those superpowers of saying, well, what if I use this type of thing in this type of environment? Maybe that's never been experimented before. So it's a new type of fabric in a new type of scenario of a wind or rainstorm, and how would it behave and things like that. The beauty of having these things be true to reality, and meaning that they're accurate, means that you'll get to see the results of those kind of experiments, and you'll get to see them in real time. And that, we believe, allows you to take it even further and do things that have never been thought of before, because you have like the mixing pot of all of this at your disposal, whether it's what's on the platform today, what you want to build on the platform tomorrow, or using existing things imported into the platform. So hopefully that helps. Sure. I think we got time for like one more. Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Through your presentation, you showed us a lot of use cases that featured huge businesses such as car factors, buildings and stuff. I was imagining if there's a sort of low scale alternative, or I don't know, maybe from a different perspective. We're not talking about building, constructing something that's very big, but rather small. For small businesses, for example, instead of just aiming for big enterprises that are acting in multiple countries, just one that's in a small city.
Yes. Yeah, the beauty of the platform is we have all different types of use cases. Of course, we showcase some of the bigger, more well-known use cases because they're more global for everyone to understand. But we have lots of shops that are 1 and 2 people shops that are using the platform and innovating on what they're doing on the platform already. And that's one of the most exciting aspects to me is like, I work with the developer community primarily, and we have thousands of developers now who are developing tools and technologies and extensions and add-ons and then selling them into the ecosystem. So there's great opportunities, whether you're an individual developer or small shop. And yes, we'll showcase those in the future as well. I think right out of the gate, we typically tend to showcase the big world scenario things, but I think you're right. There's a lot of news in the small shops as well.
Thank you.
Sure thing.
Just I'll complement your question. In our group, for instance, we are working with Omniverse for simulating our autonomous sailing boats. And it's a small group. I mean, it's not a BMW or other things, but it's using very successfully Omniverse for this group of sailing boats.
Hello, my name is Gabriel. I'm a PhD student in Brazil. I work mostly with crowd simulations. My question is, if I or anyone have an idea that could be possibly implemented on Omniverse, it would be possible to directly have an implementation on the Omniverse application, or it would be necessary to use software that is compatible with Omniverse, be that Unity or Veo. What would be the ideal first step for someone or anyone who wants to have a research and implement something on Omniverse?
Yeah, great question. At the very core of Omniverse is what's called Kit, which is a very advanced developer toolkit. That allows for developers to have access to everything that you've seen that's been developed on the platform. You have access to as a developer. You can see how we built Create, how we built View, etc. You can see hundreds of examples of how to build an extension, etc. So you have all of these at your disposal. If you're already a developer on one of the other platforms you talked about, whether it's Unity or Unreal, Maya, etc. You can connect those to the platform and build that way as well. So you have a great deal of flexibility. That's the whole thing when I talk about the analogy being like an operating system, is we provide a similar type scenario like an operating system, the ability to build, connect, extend, enhance, customize in any way that you see. And we're already seeing that happen a lot with independent developers who see opportunities in building things like an automated way to do shelves and stock those shelves in a warehouse. Sounds like a very rudimentary thing, but you would not believe how many warehouses need a tool like that. So one of our developers in the community decided to automate that process as an extension. And so now you can say, my warehouse is this big, I have this many products, and they need to be on how many shelves, and it'll tell you the shelves, the locations, all of that. So simple little extensions like that, all the way up to building full-blown applications on the platform as if they were building another Adobe product or something like that.
Thank you very much.
Sure thing. Thank you.
Okay, Richard, there are many more people that want to make questions, but we are out of time, and the conference still has other sessions coming now. So let's thank again Richard for this wonderful talk.
Thank you, everybody. Hope to see you in person next time. All right.
Thank you very much.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Esteban. Thank you all. Boa tarde.
Pedro. Thank you, Pedro.
Bom evento aí.